It's nice to speak with you again, Robinson. This is our second topic that we want to cover today. The topic is establishing international cross-dock logistics platforms, which would be hubs for shipping internationally and in an efficient way. Can you start? So you've already introduced yourself. Can you start by introducing this topic?
Yeah, sure. As you know, Dustin, I'm located in Brazil, and Brazil has a very complex custom systems. We have many uh, regulations, very difficult to meet sometimes, and the costs for clearing imported material, they are high in Brazil. System is not so efficient. Besides being expensive, it's not so efficient. Sometimes I have heard of friends that work with an imported material, and they sometimes have an average of 15 days of lead time to go through customs, to get the customs release, which is for many countries too much to bear. So but if you go deeply to analyze why this takes so long to get the customs release in Brazil, then you learn that sometimes a discrepancy between the cargo, the physical cargo, and the documentation will be the greatest cause for this delay. And the officers at the customs area, they are very strict. They sometimes they are very demanding. They really that you are bringing material, and it's your responsibility as importer to bring material according to documentation. But on the other hand, if you go on the position of the importer company, then how can you make sure that your supplier or your exporter in other country is shipping exactly as the paperwork is saying? I mean, all the details that, like for example, harmonized for the border material, like for example, net and gross, number of volumes, dimensions. I think all those items that constitute the paperwork, the data on the paperwork, they are examined very thoroughly by the officers at customs. And if they're not matching, then you have a problem. Then you have sometimes you have to pay a penalty. Sometimes you have a delay until you really get the correct and revised paperwork. So all this takes time, and then your import becomes more expensive because you have associated with time that your cargo remains in some area. And also the other costs, like for example, unavailability of the material. And so this I think that might be good and very, very helpful for an importer in Brazil, especially, maybe in other countries as well, but it will depend on the customs system they operate with. But on Brazil, I'm helpful is to establish cross-dock platforms. When I say cross-dock platforms, just to summarize the whole idea, you have a hub, a warehouse, now established place, focus on logistics, operation on handling material. It will be receiving from several places, from several suppliers. They will be consolidating cargo, and then we will reship this to you in Brazil. So this will be the whole idea of a cross-dock logistics platform. And of course, they have to make the same job the customs officer in Brazil do. They have to check material that is wrapping with the paperwork. And when they are shipping, they have to make sure that all those critical details or data on the paperwork are confirmed before they ship the material to you. This kind of structure, this platform, as we say, would be helpful in case that your planning goes out of the schedule. Like, for example, suppose you have want to ship from, let's say, Europe to Brazil, material, you have imported your platform service provider to receive material to confirm the paperwork with cargo, and then containerize all of those products so that you optimize your container space, and then also you also have the minimum cost associated to freight because you're using sea freight. But then something goes off schedule, and you notice that you're running out of specific material. You cannot just wait for the material to arrive at the cross-dock platform and wait for all those material plans for a certain container. You have to really go to air freight. You should have a logistics structure, a logistics service provider operating like that. You can him to take off the container, or not even put into the container, but to take that material in urgent need and to air freight that material. So this will cover your need for that not seen urgent need, or that not expected urgent need. On the other hand, when reshipping the material from this hub outside Brazil to Brazil, it will be a responsibility of this logistics operator to make sure each number from each manufacturer inside the container is really matching the data on the paperwork. I mean, the paperwork must be very, very, very accurate. So when this arrives in Brazil, it doesn't matter if it is an air freight or a sea freight, any customs officer will see a perfect match between paperwork and cargo. And this would be, then you really, you will not have this classic and very, which happens very frequently in Brazil, which is the most frequent reason why you have material stuck at customs. So I've learned this, and that having this type of a service contracted to ship material to a country like Brazil is very helpful, because you really decrease very much the lead time to get the customs release. You really have on your pipeline, let's say like this, a quantity of material enough to cover your needs. Of course, to operate this in an efficient way, you have to really work hard with your suppliers on the schedules, delivery schedules, which calls for material planning. If you don't plan according to your needs, in a very close communication with your supplier, you probably will have this, because it's a type of complex shipping system, because you have someone that who doesn't, a company who doesn't know the material you're purchasing. They're just sometimes receiving, repacking, loading containers, and reshipping. So it's pretty much logistics. So you're not familiar with the material you have. So you really have to manage it at a certain distance, and make sure that your supplier or your supplier base is really doing their jobs. If you do this, you probably will have materials being shipped according to your needs, paperwork matching cargo, and you have only a few issues maybe with customs, which you reduce your lead time and consequently your costs. So for a company who has several suppliers outside Brazil, I would recommend consider establishing a service like that, a cross-dock platform for shipping to Brazil.
Thank you, Robinson, for sharing today.
Welcome.